This show is brought to you by FanBags Cornhole, Chicago's official supplier of professional cornhole boards and bags. Choose from any of their officially licensed designs or have my boy Brian design a custom set using anything from a selfie to your company's logo. Visit www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS to get 10% off your entire order. That's www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS for 10% off. Step up your game with FanBags Cornhole. In 3, 2, 1.
Hey, this is Tom Waddle, worn out former Chicago Bears wide receiver, and you are listening to Greg Braggs in the Stands.
In the stands, that's what we're all about. Let's go. The Bears, they started this new tradition last year where they celebrate their wins the correct way.
Waddle and Sylvie, ESPN 1000, don't miss it.
I know what you mean.
It's like their own Philly.
Okay. Okay, I think what it is.
We shouldn't be showing this. Am I crazy?
Yogi!
What a great sign that is. What have I told you? 17 minutes of rain would wash away 108 years of drought.
Do you see this team growing into the team that you were in 2005?
Great props, everybody.
Braggs, you are ridiculous.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Gregory Braggs Jr. Welcome back to Braggs in the Stands, a special edition, a cornhole edition of Braggs in the Stands. This is a new series we're going to start out here with my good buddy and loyal sponsor and great friend, Brian Potter from FanBags Cornhole. And, as I said before the thing got started, if you go to www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS, you can get 10% off an order of your own personal boards, which you can see behind me on my left or right, whatever that is. And they are great boards, to say the least. And we're going to get all into that tonight as we introduce these guys. But, I wanted to set the stage here a little bit. Finally, I've got good Wi-Fi. I appreciate all you guys tuning in here lately for the live events, where unfortunately the Wi-Fi has been insane, but we're back in my humble abode. So everything should run smoothly tonight, and I won't be freaking out like I was on Saturday for the Dan Hampton signing with my guys over at Collector Cave, which was a lot of fun. So without further ado, we're going to introduce our guests, and we have a very special guest here tonight. I'm a huge bags player. Just got my new boards here. I've had the same boards for like 15 years. Finally replaced those beaten up pieces of crap with these beautiful, beautiful boards. And I'm telling you what, I'm excited to get into this because I got to learn how to get better at this so I can start taking my friends' money. So if you're watching and you're interested in really learning the tricks of the trade, this is the show for you. So without further ado, we're going to introduce our first guest. But I want to show the video to show you what our first guest is all about.
He tested real quick how the nerves handle up on an airmail attempt early in this game.
And hits it.
Follow up by Birchfield, gets one to sit on the back, and Bernacet can draw first blood with a slide shot up the center.
Aiming it right up the middle and hits it. Big shot. Birchfield, of course. But for Steven Bernacet, here you see on the first bag honors. That was the first player he ever had to play against. And Kai's done.
Slow, methodical approach.
Matchup again, ever. In his very first regional. Draws Matt Guy. Talked to him a lot over the last year and a half. Obviously, he was affected like many other kids. Make money during the summer, just like most high school kids. And now playing on the main stage.
Said probably just going to go right through it again. That's what he does.
Again, first bag honors. It's the same, like you said, Trey, methodical motion every single time. It spins it in.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. 16 in a row. To start this. He is perfect so far. Exchange between partners. Jimmy McGuffin and Greg Geary, right?
Yep.
In Philadelphia at the Pro Invitational.
That's right. He hit 32 out of 34, 38 out of, I think 42 for the match. To try and make it 20 in a row. Well, Bernacet is an athlete, outstanding high school football player and baseball player, but unfortunately his neck ended his playing career. Something that fulfills that competitive desire really turned his life around.
Is that the first miss of the game? No, it is not.
Trey hits it in for him, so now 24 straight.
I don't think I've seen 24 in a couple of years from a singles player.
We talk about one of the beauties of this sport is that you can actually play defense. I mean, at some point, does Trey maybe throw a block?
I mean, the problem was I thought he was in the first couple rounds. You know what I'm saying? In the first couple rounds, he was doing it. This is now for 28 in a row.
On the way, just short, but will it go in again with a little bit of help?
Trey doesn't know. And that is going to end the streak. 27 bags in a row with the 28th.
Absolutely perfect form from Steven Bernacet, who joins us now. Welcome to the show, Steven. That was an unbelievable display of consistency and form like I've never seen before. Like I was telling you before the show started, you know, I think I'm hot shit at bags. I call myself Big Bags Brags. Everybody around me knows this because I'll take your money real quick. But I got humbled in the worst way when I was prepping for this show. Seeing the way you throw is absolutely unbelievable. You know, what was that like to go on a run like that? And, you know, obviously that was a televised event, but is that the most you've ever made in a row, or have you topped that in your own personal games, you know, off the screen?
First off, thank you for having me on, man.
Of course. Welcome to the show.
But no, that was definitely the longest I've ever had in a singles game in like a live competition. In practice, I've gone longer, but it don't really matter. It's practice, but that was by far the longest streak I've ever put on.
What's it like to be in the zone like that? You know, I mean, this is obviously a full-out sports show. I grew up watching Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and he would get in the zone, you know, like that playing basketball. And I got to imagine it's the same kind of trans. You know, we've all kind of had that if anybody's ever played sports. But, you know, what is that like to be that locked in that moment, especially on a stage like that where you're on national TV?
I don't know. It's pretty surreal. I've told people a lot that, like, it honestly felt like I could not miss. Like, just every bag I threw, I knew was going in the hole. And I don't know. It was just a lot of hard work finally paying off.
Now, you see in the video, you know, you're doing a lot of, and anybody that's thrown cornhole or bags, Brian busts my chops for calling it bags, but, you know, Big Bags, Brags, can't help it. So I say both, you know, and it's FanBags too. That's what I was telling them on Twitter. So it's not that terrible to call it bags or sacrilege, but, you know, you notice in the video, you know, the technique of, you know, not just the release, but like flattening it in your hand. You know, how important is that to have a consistent where it lays on the board and slides in delicately the way you do?
For me, it's pretty important because of how slick of bags I throw. So I got to make sure I get the bag as flat as my hand as possible, or it's not going to go where I want it to go.
Sure. And so my favorite part of this video was how despondent the guy next to you was. You know, he couldn't take it by the end. He was like, I don't even want to throw this bag in fear of knocking it, because he knocked a couple in, which still count towards your streak. But, you know, that had to have been a fun feeling for you. You know, the other thing too I'm curious about when I watch this video is, so the rules are, you know, everybody argues about the rules all drunk when they're drinking their whiskey, playing each other. But when you cross the front of the board, so when you release your hand, that's where you have to stay behind the red line. Because I've seen a few times in these videos where after the throw is released, sometimes a player will fall ahead of the line. So is it just stay behind the line once the bag is out of your hand, or do you have to stay behind it the entire time?
So the rule is the bag has to come out of your hand before you can step over the line or the front of the board. Okay.
So that's key, because we argue about this all the time when we're drinking at my house, Steven. So, you know,
I still have to deal with those conversations too. There's a lot of people who don't like the rule being able to step over.
Everybody's got their own rules, right? Yeah. It's like house rules. But no, that makes a lot of sense. That once it's out of your hand, then, because everybody kind of has like a leaner. It's like the Carlton Fisk, where you're like, you know, so you got to kind of give it that mojo if you want it to go in. You got to will it, you know.
Yeah.
So
I use it on my push shots. It gives me more power behind my push, because I throw the bag really soft. So
when guys are angling out, you got to stay within that box. You cannot angle far left so you can get the right angle if there's like a certain alley, right?
You have 3 feet on each side you can move. You got 3 feet of
I'm gonna start bringing a chalk because I got some jokesters that try to like come all the way over here and throw it. Like, no,
they got 3 feet to grab the bag. You can't step out of 3 feet.
So, as we touched on before, you played on the biggest stages for championships, singles and doubles. You won the singles championship. Was this earlier this year, correct?
Yeah, it was in March.
In March. So, and then you are also, you and your partner, Tom Gustafson, you guys played in doubles and won the doubles champions. So for you, you obviously are good at both. Is there a preference, because like with singles, I imagine you got to walk back and forth, right?
For me, singles is always my favorite because it's just me out there, and I really like to get in my own little zone. I'm listening to music, and I don't really gotta talk. I don't really gotta do anything, but just throw bags. So you put earbuds in and listen to music in competition, huh? Oh yeah, I can't throw without music. It's almost like poker, in that regard. Yeah. So you ain't get psyched out because like part of my game is I'm a mad shit talker. I mean, I am talking as much crap as I possibly can. I was raised on the school of Michael Jordan. He talked so much trash it wasn't even funny. So that's part of my game. Because I'm not, you're what I would call a spinner or a ringer. I can't spin it. It's all flat. I'm a flat thrower. But when I get in the zone, I can go. Okay. But when I face a spinner, I know I'm in for a long game. So part of my game is A, I got to make sure I'm blocking the hole to throw off the spinner. And B, I got to talk as much crap as humanly possible. And I got a big mouth, Steven. No, I've heard the term ringer. I've never heard the term spinner before, though. Yeah. I've never heard I can explain it. Yeah, no, I get it. It makes perfect sense. It's just I've never heard that term. They'll say ringer. Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, a ringer, I can be a ringer. To me, anybody that is clutch is a ringer. And to me, that's the difference between a ringer. The clutch ones are ringers, but spinners is how I define people that throw the bag correctly. I've tried to learn, but I spent so many years, just doing the flop toss, and I'll get it to slide, especially with these new boards. My other boards were shorter. So now when I've got Brian's fantastic boards, it gives me a little more length. So I kind of have learned a smaller distance of air, so now it's kind of helping me a little bit. It's throwing me off a little bit because you get a little you take it for granted. It's a long ways to get it up to that hole. But so let's go over this because I saw this. I pulled this up on Twitter earlier. These are your stats. I don't know if this is from last year or I think that was my overall stats from the national I won in singles. So explain to us. It's over a 9-game span. Okay. Points per round or PPR is what my score is. My average score per round. Wow. So I was averaging right under a 10. So 3 in and 1 on would be a 10. Holy smokes! And you've got 54 baggers. 54 baggers. My 4-bagger percentage was 40%, and then my points differential per round is so every round on average I was scoring at least a point. That's pretty much what that says. Wow, and that goes to show you the competition you're up against. You're putting up 9-10 points a round, and you're still only covering 1 point because these guys are matching you. We have a saying in the ACL. Trey Ryder says it: tens don't score. You have to throw 12s to really score at the top level. Wow. That is something else, man. It's humbling, like I said, because I love bags. Or cornhole. It's my favorite, one of my favorite games when I'm hanging out with friends. We just played the other night. We were going all the way into the middle of the night when the mosquitoes were biting us and we're arguing. We keep tying it up. We got to have the rubber match, and it's really, like I said, it's how I got to bring you over one day and just pretend like you are a professional thrower, and then you can help me out because my boy Kyle, he's a spinner and also a ringer,
And he'll always joke that I owe him like $800, Steven, because one night we were getting tipsy and we were getting real chesty, and he's real good, but I can get in his head sometimes. And so we were throwing one bag for $100. Wow. And it got to a point where I owed him like $400, and I was getting so mad at him. I really wanted to rip his head off. So I go, all right, this one bag, either double or nothing or a wash. He's like, and Jenny's like, don't do this, don't do this. And I put it in. I Jordan timed it, as I like to say. I put it in. And then he goes, well, I get to match. I was like, I shouldn't have said yes, but I said yes. And he put that one in and the next one in. And so now, to this day, because I'm not giving him this money. This is crap, Steven. He's not getting it. We're like brothers. And we pay it off different ways, but he's always reminding me of the day that, we drunkenly bet $800 on some bags. So, I'll tell you what, and the other thing about this guy, Kyle, he's a great friend of mine, but the other night we're playing and, he's not taking it seriously, Steven. We're throwing and I'm like expecting him to help carry this and he just lays down, Now you got your partner, Tom Gustafson. It seems like this guy is real deal Holyfield, but, you said you like to be on your own. What's it like in that dichotomy when you've got your teammate, you said you have the earbuds in. Does he have them in as well?
No, he doesn't play with music. It's just I love playing with me and Tommy have really good chemistry. So like I don't need to hear everything. We don't communicate like that. And when he needs to say something to me, I usually know. So I'll just pull it out. But we trust each other. I know what shots he's going to do or what he's setting up to do. He knows what I'm trying to do. So
how much communication is going on between the two of you, as far as strategy or even just motivation, confidence builder? Are you guys doing that throughout the match? Or is that kind of throwing you off your game, almost like when a guy's throwing a no-hitter, like don't talk to him kind of thing?
No, confidence-wise, yeah. Like I'm an emotional player, so like I'll feed off his energy, and I'll get some emotion out of Tommy too, which is awesome. I love when he shows emotion. But strategy-wise, I don't tell him what to do because we play two totally different styles. And so I know what he's going to do, and I trust him to do what he's going to do. So there's no strategy coming from me.
Yeah,
he knows what I'm going to do. So
when I was doing some of the prep work, I was scouring your Twitter timeline, and I caught a good video, and it turns out your partner Tom is a lefty. So I'm going to play this video, and then I want you to explain kind of what the difference is between a righty and a lefty and how that gives them a little bit of an advantage at times. So here's the video right here.
The backside of the hole.
This could be an opportunity for 4 here for Gustafson. Easy push.
And he does take them both in. Big shot for Gustafson.
That's an important round there. Brings it within a single point. Watch this again. And a perfect delivery there with those 2 bags, those fire bags on the backside.
Yeah, so when you see that, the way the lefty has the counterclockwise spin, how much of an advantage is that for you guys when you're in a doubles tournament? Does that throw off the other guy? Because, normally when you're playing somebody, you're kind of used to where a bag's going to sit. And then in the lefty, it's coming from a different angle. How much does that throw off your competition?
I think a little bit definitely because, he's a righty, but because the way he throws, it's a lefty. So he has his different angles that he comes in. So it's definitely different playing against him because a normal righty, like you said, where his line is to come in to try to slide in the hole. With Tommy, because his reverse spin he doesn't have the same lane as you, even though he's still a righty. He comes in at different angles, and if you don't know that, you're going to find out quick because your blocks are going to be – you can't block him because he's going to get right around it.
Now, when it comes to blocking, because that's a big part of my game, especially if I'm trying to face a ringer and try to take him down, you got to block the hole. Now, like we saw in the 27 in a row, the guy you were facing, at times he was just pushing both in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much do you weigh just dragging them both in or trying to go over the top? Because to me, when we go over the top, that's what we call getting greedy. And because we all can't do it like you can do it, whereas there's this consistency like a madman. But do you have a preference? Do you just want to clear the board, so to speak, and get them both in, and then live to fight for the next bag, or are you trying to get over the top to try to get as many points as you can?
So for me, because the way I play, I'm gonna slide every bag in the hole. That's what I'm gonna do. So I get blocked a lot, so I have to work and have worked on my airmail to where I'm not scared to throw an airmail. If you want to block me, I will go down the airmail game. I have no problem doing that, but I just try to go down the middle. It's the highest percentage shot is the slide shot. So
sure. So we got Kevin Smith in the chat here, and he says you own one. So I don't know. Is there a story behind this here, Steven?
Yeah, I played him, and he just had a very I've never seen him shoot the way he did. And
he had an outer body experience. Huh?
No, he just had an off game. We all had him.
Oh, I see. He's a ringer as well. Okay.
But yeah, he just had an off game. So, but I mean, he's beaten me before. He's a good player. What's up, Kevin?
And so, as far as, it seems like you're one of the top in the world. Is there a guy that who's the best one, your toughest opponent that you have to go up against? And B, when you do go up against those guys that are at the upper echelon of your competition, how much of a mental, because everything's about confidence. As you said, you're an emotional player. I am as well. I'm extremely emotional. Now that I have these nice boards, my old boards that I've had for 15 years, I'd kick those things. I'd throw them when things didn't go my way. I can't do that anymore because I got these beautiful boards. So, when you're facing that kind of competition, what is the mindset? Are you, like you said, you put the earbuds in? Is somebody like that taking you off your game a little bit because you're so nervous about making sure you're playing perfect? Where does your mindset go when it comes to that?
To be honest, there's only one actual pro right now that I don't like playing against him. I actually love playing against him. He's one of my good friends, but his name's Ryan Windsor, and elite thrower, one of the best in the world. The only reason is because me and him have thrown against each other a lot. We're really good friends. We practice together, and his style is he's a really hard thrower, so he can roll and flop over bags. And doing that and how good he is at it takes away some of my shots, because if he can sit on top of one of my bags, I can't really go airmail. I can't go push. So just him, it's more difficult to play against him because just that added shot that he has because of how he throws and what bads he throws.
Huh. That's interesting. Like I said, I'm trying to get all the tips I can so I can start taking these ringers down. So that is interesting. So when you talk about a guy with a more powerful throw, is that about arm trajectory more so than, how much strength they're putting in behind it? Because, a ringer's going to release at eye point, or a little below. Is that about right?
Yeah.
And then
a hard thrower is going to, have a lower release point, and then just put a lot of rotation on the bag.
So how did you know you wanted to get into this? Everybody starts by playing their boys, and this evolution of cornhole has gone from just a tailgating game or a game you play in your backyard to now it's on ESPN, CBS Sports, which you've been on. How did you know you wanted to get into this? And could you ever believe that you would end up on a professional circuit playing on national TV like that? Or was that your goal to start, or were you just kind of step by step when it came to that?
So the way I started was I went to a party barbecue, and they had boards and bads out, and I was like, what is this? And I watched, and I was like, man, it seems really fun. I saw the people who were playing were having a lot of fun, and I was like, all right, I got nets, so nets played, and my first bag came out flat, which is the hardest part of the game, in my opinion, is to get a flat bag. And I went from there, and then later that night I went home and I YouTubed competitive cornhole, and I fell in love with it. I started playing from there, and I mean, I've always wanted to be a pro in the in the ACL. A lot of people told me I wasn't good enough, and when I started, I wasn't. I put a lot of work into where my game is today. But it feels good. Like I said, hard work finally paying off a little bit.
Well, that's great, man. Now, you can't just sign up for this. You got to earn your merit. So there's, I'm assuming just like golf, probably like a competition you have to enter just to get into the professional circuit, correct?
So you can play. There's multiple ways to get your pro status. You can do like a full season, a point season, to where you're traveling to different open tournaments, doing your regionals every month, playing your locals weekly, and qualify from the standings to be a pro. Or you can they have called a pro qualifier, which this year is like 512 players in this pro qualifier, and it's a rounders tournament, so you just play 8 singles games, and it's progressive. So say if you're 2-0 and I was 2-0, we would have a good chance of playing each other, and you go all the way until the 8 games have been played. The top 24 of that, which is like I said, over 500 people, only 24 will get pulled from that, and they'll become pros. And with those numbers and some applications that you can get accepted by the league in, the remaining pros will come from the pros already from this year that already requalified throughout the pro season. Okay.
So how many players are in the ACL?
So there's 256 pros.
Wow. Well, that's elite company there, and is there a way, maybe similar to golf or something like that, where if you're not playing good enough, can you fall off of being in the professional circuit?
Absolutely. So the requalification for the pro is top 100 in singles, and then top 50 in doubles. Wow. And if you don't fall into that, you get put into that pro qualifier to try to requalify.
Okay.
And then if you don't, you lose your pro status.
That's a lot of pressure right there. And I guess an incentive to keep practicing, because even like someone like you that's got this perfect form and throwing, how many days a week are you practicing at this to hold that consistency?
So for like a national, I start throwing every day about like 2 weeks out. I'll throw every day. I usually throw around 4 or 5 hours a day.
Wow.
And then for worlds, so world championships are next week. And for the past like 2.5 weeks, I've thrown every day for that amount of time.
Now, is this your full-time job?
This is where most of my income comes. Yes.
Wow. So prior to this, what were you doing?
So I was a reseller.
Okay.
I resell shoes, anything. Just a reseller. I love to gamble, so I love to play on the stock market a little bit. Like yeah.
There you go.
I had a 9-to-5 job for like 7 years.
Go ahead.
And it's just not me. And then I found cornhole, and I was like, I saw where it could possibly go, and I trusted myself that if I put all my eggs in this basket, I could get there.
Wow, that's an incredible story. You talk about the stock market. We were doing a show. My good buddy Trey Tunes does the Trey Tunes show, and we got this guy named Will. He's a real character. He'll call into the shows, and he was giving us stock advice earlier, saying to buy into uranium. He was talking about a couple groups. Some guys in the chat might be able to pull him up. It was like yellow something. If somebody in the chat helped me out, but he was giving us the heads up on these couple uranium stocks to keep an eye out for. Okay. Once somebody puts that in the chat, I'll pull it up and when maybe you can get in on that. I'm not too much of a gambler or a stock guy. My other co-host, Johnny B, when we do our football shows, he's a big-time gambler. And he's making money hand over fist doing this, and I'm just watching. I'm just sitting on the sideline. So it certainly is tempting. And here was Fitter has got one of them. It's called Yellow Hammer. It's for their uranium stock. So keep an eye out for that. So little sidetrack, but you brought it up, so I wanted to help you out there. So you had a big win earlier this year. I want to play the video and share it long, and maybe you can explain kind of what that was all about and winning on CBS Sports.
On the way and too short.
Perfect bag in this situation would actually not be all the way in, would be a replacement pushing his bag in and sitting in front. But he collects it anyway, and obviously taking 2 bags for 1 isn't that bad of a deal either.
Wow, so that one in will limit the damage, but
5-ball.
And that's what he tried. Yep, he tried. And now a single bag in the hole will win it for Tom Gustafson and Steven Bernacet. And that will do it. The number 4 ranked team in the country has still yet to lose this year in the ACL Pro Division to anybody not named Jamie Graham and Matt Guy. Over 30 wins, only 5 losses. All 5 losses to the same team.
Undefeated against everyone else in the country.
Do it.
Unbelievable, and they will clinch an appearance in the Pro Shootout Championship, where they have an opportunity to win a $50,000 grand prize.
Gustafson throws in the dagger, and that'll do it. Again, Tom Gustafson and Steven Bernacet, your champions here in Erie.
Wow, Ringers is right, Fitter. It certainly is an impressive display. So a big win here earlier this year. How was that? Just a few weeks ago, or?
It was about a month ago.
Yeah,
about a month ago. A little over a month ago.
Nice. So go on to win the doubles championship, right? Because that's
the shootout. Yeah,
there you go. So like you were saying earlier, you like to. It surprised me when you said that you prefer to play singles over doubles, because to me, singles, you're throwing you're coming off your spot. Like when I'm in the zone, I don't want to move. I'm like,
you want to stay on that side of the board,
right? And it not even board, but just like I don't want to move my. It's like feet positioning. You take a couple steps, then you literally trying to track them back. Okay. I mean, it's everything. Like I mean, that's how like maniacal I get with it. So it does surprise me that you don't mind coming off your spot, when it comes to that.
Yeah, it don't bother me. And actually, as a stepper too, like I really just take one step, so it's really easy for me to kind of, hit, step in the same spot. It's the same. I'm a rhythm thrower. I try to do everything the exact same, the same energy in every throw. So it works out for me.
So you're from the region. That was a surprise to me too, and I told Brian we're going to start this series. He's been a loyal sponsor. This is just a year. A 1-year anniversary is coming up here in like a month. And he's been a loyal sponsor from the start, a great friend, and when he talked about doing this series with me here on Brags in the Stands, I said, all right, just start bringing on, because I know he sponsors a lot of guys on the professional circuit. I was like, just start picking your best buds here, and we'll start highlighting these guys. And lo and behold, you're one of the top players in the country, and you're from the region, and you're telling me before the show starts that you went to Crown Point. You graduated from Crown Point, my alma mater, in 2009. So, I mean, that blows my mind. You started this journey in the region. I'm a very proud region rat. and now that I know you're around here, I got to be careful when I'm around some of these tournaments. I know to look out when Steven Bernacet's name, Bernacet's on the.
You'll know if I'm there
list.
because our team name we usually use when we go to like local tournaments is Region Rat. So
okay, I'm definitely going to be on the lookout. Like I said, if your partner needs a day off, then I'll just come with you and you can help make me look good for sure. I certainly need you to come by for a tailgate when we're watching a Bears game over here and help me take some of my friend's money, especially Kyle, my backstabbing friend who laid down the other day while we were playing. He's a freaking ringer, and he was throwing like garbage, and I did not appreciate it. So if you're watching, Kyle, I'm calling you out. Me and Steven are going to take you down. So, that being said, I do want to bring on our next guest as well, bring him into the conversation. Wanted to highlight kind of your journey and your career and learn about, what you're all about and get some tips and pointers, obviously, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are throwing. I mean, football season's coming up, so a lot of people are going to be throwing in the tailgate lot, so it always helps to get as many tips and pointers as we possibly can. But let's bring in our next guest from FanBags Cornhole, the founder of FanBags Cornhole, my good friend Brian Potter. Welcome to the show, Brian.
What's up, guys? This is absolutely a dream come true, Greg, getting on this show with you.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I apologize for not bringing you on before. I mean, I really should. You've been the man behind the curtain. We always make sure to promote your brand here on our show. After each of my interviews, we always make sure to give your great boards a shout. And
I know that you just want to be the only pretty face that's on the show.
Yeah, of course. I'm definitely a screenaholic. I'm a talkaholic. All the guys will tell you. All the guys will tell you here in the chat that I'm a man of many words. I don't know how to shut up. I'll call into my buddy Trey Toon's show and we'll just take it. I'll just take it over. It's his show, and then I'll just be talking. You know how I do, Brian. So why don't you kind of talk about what your brand is all about? Your company, FanBags Cornhole, how it started. You can give a little background on how we got to know each other, but more so, the evolution of FanBags and where it started and where it's headed.
Oh my gosh. So when I started FanBags, it was in my garage, and we were making cornhole boards with interchangeable tops. So the idea was to slide the top out and slide a brand new design all the way in. And that's when, boards weren't really regulated in size. Cornhole was still a backyard game. And we were just slinging boards to people who wanted some cool designs, and they liked the interchangeable top. And we just kind of progressed from there. So it went from my garage into a 2,000 square foot facility. From there, it went into a 6,000 square foot facility, and so now we got a couple facilities all over the United States right now that do a lot of distribution and manufacturing for us. But man, we just evolve with the times, and Steven, you can attest. You were there for some of the early days of the boards, which they were good, but man, they are nowhere near the quality or with the technology that they have today. One of my first tournaments that I met Steven at, we had a tournament and we were still throwing corn bags, the ones that dust. And if you get them wet, it's like throwing a brick. And we had a bunch of the ACL pros show up and they're like, what in the heck is this? Haven't you heard of double-sided bags or resin-filled bags? I'm like, nope, never heard of it, but I did after that. And so, we've just been real forthright in accepting some brand new technology. I think we were one of the first ones to actually directly print the design on the wood. A lot of people were using vinyl stickers. And so we bought a printer and started printing and printed away in the shop and just been kind of going since there. So, right now we're doing tournament edition boards. We do 3 different designs or 3 different models of professional double-sided bags, from stick and slick to medium fast to super slick, like what Steven likes. And we're very involved with the people that we really mesh well with on the ACL Pro side. And my top guy is Steven Bernacet right here. And not much that anybody can say that's negative about Steven, but man, when I met him, dude could play. I mean, dude could toss, dude could play. We were at a tournament, and you and Ryan Windsor put on a show, and it was at a beer fest, and people stopped drinking to watch you guys when free beer was around. Yeah, so that's where I got to kind of sit there and talk to Steven, and we got close as friends, and he mentioned to me, it's about a year before he became a pro, he's like, hey, I want to be a pro. I want to do this. This is what I was born to do, and this is my passion. And what do you think we can do to do this? And like, well, let's just practice. And dude would put in a 10, 12-hour work day, and then he would be playing until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and practicing. And I'll never forget that when they had the pro invite, man, you were practicing your butt off for what feels like almost 6 months. You'd invite the local guys in, the ringers from the local area. And I'm surprised Greg Braggs didn't get an invite, but I mean, maybe we just didn't want to get somebody else really bad in there. But yeah, he played singles until 3 o'clock in the morning against the best in the area, and was consistently dominating people, and went out, and I think you had to be in the top 16. Steven, correct me if I'm wrong, and you went out, and I think you finished in the top 5 or the top 10. And I'll never forget, I was in Lake Tahoe and on a boys trip, and I am literally sitting at a bar by the lake, and I'm making them turn on cornhole. We got it going on my screen on my phone, and we're screaming at our table. People are like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Cornhole! You need to see my boy Steven play right now." And we've been just gangbusters after that. So that's where FanBags is headed. Is just continue to supply some amazing boards with lifetime guarantees, and make everybody happy to enjoy the game, and help boost people who need like a little bit of a boost to get out there and realize their dream, just like Steven's realizing his dream. And that's where the company's going. That's what we're doing. So
that's what I love about you, Brian. You've shown that love to me as well with what I'm trying to do here at Braggs in the Stands, and I couldn't appreciate your support more. And I'm sure Steven feels the same. Maybe you can rub some of that luck off of where Steven's gotten. Maybe Braggs in the Stands might shine up a little higher too. But we're taking it one step at a time. I mean, so how rewarding was that for you to be at the ground floor? I mean, really, both of you, and you both can speak on this, but I'll let you go first, Brian. To start at the ground floor together, with your company, and then with your personal career, Steven. How rewarding was that to see not only you make the professional circuit, but then become, as good as you have been on it? How rewarding is that for you, Brian, to know that you're investing your time in these people and then seeing reaping the benefits of that?
Well, I mean, it's always great to see your logo on TV. And, we've been very fortunate to have some really good people that have come through and had the FanBags logo on their jersey and go on ESPN. But with Steven, I mean, he put all the work in. I didn't do anything. I really didn't. I maybe introduced him to a place that he could play, and that's it. But he took his talent. He had the drive to succeed. He practiced his ass off, and he made himself into what he is right now. And it's fortunate for me to see it, because I get to see Steven from, when he started, when you're playing at Gary Railcat Stadium and you're still dominating people, but we had some pros showing up and you're not finishing as high as you want. But to literally take the bull by the horns, get after it, and say, I'm going to outwork everyone. And you did, and just absolutely go through and qualify. And I mean, man, when you qualified, I felt like a proud daddy, right? And so, and I'm a proud daddy of two little kids, and But
I thought you were talking
did
about us.
Well,
your baby boys.
Dude, I know, but even with you, it's the same thing, man. I'm driving around in my car, and all of a sudden I'm listening to ESPN radio, and they're like, our good friend Greg Braggs is on radio, and they're letting you talk for like 20 minutes. And it's you, Tom Waddle, and David Kaplan, and I'm like, I'm on the phone, I'm like, dude, is that really you on the radio right now, or is they just got an imitator on right now? But
the worst mistake they ever made.
Oh no, those guys absolutely love you. But no, man, I mean, I'm here to support you guys, and I'm just glad that I got to know you and I got introduced to you, Greg, at the first little abysmal tournament that we ever put on. That
how funny is that? The first tournament, and that's how we crossed paths.
First tournament, which couldn't have gone any worse, and and befriended you and went out and we played some bags, you, me, and Adam, and I think I took a little bit of your money back in the day, but we'll cross that bridge another day. But I like being kind of like, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain and just letting you guys do what you were born to do. And I mean, I got no part in it. It's all of your God-given talents. So, and Steven, I'll tell you this, man, when you won that first championship, man, I was in my house. I had family over. I had everybody shut up in my living room. I am counting every single 27 bag that went in there. I'm jumping up and down, screaming. I sweated through my shirt. And I mean, you can ask my wife, I was literally crying. So happy for you that you broke through and you succeeded. And I'm up taking pictures of my TV and man, I couldn't have been more happy for you, and then for your success with Tom. And man, you guys really freaking deserve it. So that's where I'm coming from.
And for you, Steven, to have a partnership here with Brian, he downplays the hard work. I watched him put those boards together in his garage, and I'm sure you did as well. How rewarding is it for you to know that this guy's in your corner, but not only in your corner, but he's thriving in his own way, and evolving from the, transition boards to now professional boards where you're seeing him on the professional circuit. How rewarding is it for you to know that a guy like Brian is in your corner and seeing where he's taken his company with?
Well, first off, I just want to say, I mean, thank you, Brian, for those kind words. That was, thank you. But no, I mean, like you said, this Brian works his ass off. I've seen it personally, dude. He deserves a lot of credit. He does a lot behind those scenes like he wants to, but he does a lot while he's behind them. And I mean, he gave me the most important thing was a place to play. I mean, that's no matter how much I want to get better or not, an indoor place to play and throw whenever I wanted, I mean, helped me so much. And I still thank Brian to this day for that. I mean, having him behind me it makes it so much easier to just go out there and do what I love to do and not have to worry about anything else.
That's great, man. That's great. Hey, it's what it's all about. Lift as you climb. That's a term that I try to live by, and that's certainly what we're doing here at Braggs in the Stands, and what you guys have done together as a team. Our guy Will, who I was speaking about earlier, he's asking, what are we doing here, Braggs? And what we're doing here is a brand new series for my guy on the bottom of the screen, Brian Potter from FanBags Cornhole. He's the official sponsor of Braggs in the Stands, the first ever sponsor. We're starting to collect a couple more interested people around the region, and we appreciate everyone's support. But Brian was here at the ground floor, and we started coming up with some different ideas on how to, shine a light on what not only his company is all about, but the people he represents and sponsors on the professional circuit. So we got Brian Potter at the bottom of the screen, Will, the founder of FanBags Cornhole, and then Steven Bernacet, who is one of the greatest bags players in the world on the American Cornhole League. And you see, this has gone global. I mean, just like, everybody kind of, with the video game world, you see that on TV. Now you're seeing cornhole on TV. It's much more than just basketball, baseball, football, that get all the interest in hockey, to a lesser extent than the big three. Now you're starting to see these other sports start to really get into the main eye. And, you know, what I like about cornhole, you know, especially, I mean, look, you're just an average Joe from the region, and now you're on the professional circuit. So anybody can get in on this and take it to the top if you put the work in. And that's what I find to be cool about it. And Will, yes, we actually even got into your stocks about uranium earlier. So shout out to you, Will. Our guy Taco Grease, he's from Highland. He said he found some uranium while scrapping. So we're even talking some uranium here, Will. You got us all. You know, you are not calling in. See, the worst thing that could happen here, guys, is if Will Dutan got in on this show, because you guys will be here for 2.5 hours. The guy, if you think I talk a lot, Will Dutan makes me look quiet. So if that's not a statement in and of itself, nothing is. So, you know, Will, you can wait till Sunday when we do a Bears show. I'm going to be going to practice Friday and Saturday for the Chicago Bears. You guys being from the region, I know Brian Potter's a diehard Chicago Bears fan. Are you as well, Steven?
I am a Bears fan, yes.
Are you guys excited for the season? We got Justin Fields in the house now. Man, it's exciting stuff. You got Justin Fields in the house, QB1. It's a new era. You know, it was crazy. What was your guys, Steven? I'll start with you. You know, when the Bears traded up to 11 and you saw that on the clock, what was that like? You know, what was your emotions in the moment when they announced the pick and the guy said, "My Chicago Bears select"? I mean, it still puts chills down my back when I think about what a call that was by that fan when they selected Justin Fields as a quarterback. What was your reaction, Steven?
So I was in Vegas for a national.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah, and I walked. We were walking through the lobby of Caesar's Palace, and they had it on. So I saw it literally as the Bears pick came in, and I went nuts because I didn't see anything about the draft. I didn't see no rumors because I just got off the plane. And when they announced it, I went nuts because I have high hopes for Justin Fields because not a Trubisky fan, to say the least.
Well, everybody busts my balls because I was always, you know, in Trubisky's corner. I thought, you know, he got a raw shake in Chicago as far.
Man, I defended him too a lot, but I just had to wash my hands with him and be like, all right.
And that makes sense. I had no problem washing my hands of him at the end of this season. Yeah. As we entered last season when it was Foles and Trubisky, I still wanted to stick with Mitch, and everybody was giving me crap for that. You know, and I'm glad those arguments are in the past now. We all get to come together. It's very rare when Bears fans can all come together and agree on a quarterback. It's always, you know, the backup or the start. Everybody's arguing. Is it Rex or Orton? You know, Jay or McCown? You know, and then Mitch, and then whoever they, you know, Nick Foles or whoever else they were trying to, you know, they thought about Cam Newton. And to me, everything happens for a reason. You know, they had a chance at Deshaun Watson. You know, I'm not going to blame them as much for not drafting Mahomes at 2, as nice as that would have been if they'd have had that foresight. But obviously everybody blames them for not drafting Deshaun Watson. The guy played in national championships. But this it's like fate, because we all seen how Deshaun Watson's career is unfolding now. It's not going great for him personally in his personal life. And you know, we had to take a couple years of 500 football, but now all of a sudden Justin Fields has fallen into our laps. I mean, Brian, you know, how excited are you for this? Do you expect him to start sooner rather than later? Because I'm certainly hoping that's the case.
You know, as much as I would love to see that, I think they got Andy Dalton in there. Let him be a punching bag for a little bit. Let Justin get some reps underneath them in practice. Not that he needs to get used to the speed of the game, but learn the offense. And man, I think him and Coach Nagy have something. And you got a dynamic QB and an offensive mind coach. I think that we're going to see some good stuff. And, man, the defense is going to be scary this year. They got a lot of guys coming back that didn't play because of COVID last year. Man, I wouldn't, you know, as a 1985 Bears celebrator, I'm holding out that this could be a sleeper team for a Super Bowl run this year, 100%. But
it certainly felt like it might have been the case if this guy would have just retired. But of course he had to pull the okey doke on us. You know, we all thought he was running off to Jeopardy, and then
just remember, every time that Aaron Rodgers is in a relationship, the Bears beat him. So or he gets injured. So I'll thank Danica Patrick for that, and Shailene Woodley. That's cool, but I think the Bears are just going to steamroll them this year. I do.
Well, there, you saw his comments today. There's certainly still a lot of friction there, and now his contract is reworked where he may not necessarily be there after next year. One can only hope. But it would be nice if we could just slay the dragon once and for all, one last time. With Brett Favre, he went over to the Vikings and Corey Wooten slammed him into the turf and the ice turf in Minnesota. Maybe something like that could happen. One can only hope as Bears fans. But of course, we got to get sidetracked into a little Bears talk, especially being diehard Bears fans as we are. But, Brian, I did want to talk a little bit more about some of the work you do and some of the products that you put out for the people watching, because, you've got college, professional, you've got everything that has to offer. Maybe talk about some of these, boards as I pull them up and tell the viewers kind of what they can expect as far as what they're looking for in a board.
So you're looking at, we're one of the only companies that does officially licensed cornhole boards. So we partnered with a lot of clearinghouses and directly with some schools to be able to offer not only custom college themed boards, but authentic, officially licensed college themed boards. So, with these, you're looking at rounded edges all the way around. You're looking at leveled top and bottom around the whole, support bracket on the legs sit flush on the ground, 2 support brackets underneath so the boards don't bounce. And you're looking at something that's got, now we just launched our lifetime warranty, manufacturer's warranty on the boards. So, you're looking at a superior product right there. That
what does that entail? A lifetime warranty? Because I just got my boards now. So what does that mean?
It means that if the legs fall off, or if they don't sit flush, or if nothing's beveled to your liking, that you send them back and we take care of it. So that's really what it is. The only thing that we don't guarantee is any custom design. So if we send it back to you and a word misspelled, you don't proofread it, unfortunately that's on you. But for us, it's all about the craftsmanship. And for a long time, that was something that we really strived to achieve. As we were learning, we made a lot of strides to increase the craftsmanship and increase the warranty and the reliability of our boards, because they're an investment.
But I'm not allowed to chuck. I'm not allowed to just chuck them in a fit of rage, right, Brian?
Well, for you like to flip them over in a fit of rage, but they'll survive that. But if you're trying to change your oil on your car and you drive your car up on them and they crash,
that doesn't count.
I would assume it's probably not going to be covered.
I'm not going to run over my boards unless Kyle's sitting on them, because he freaking stabbed me in the back the other day, Brian. I swear to God, first time we sat him down, played our first game, the first round I got a 4-bagger, and I don't get 4-baggers like Steven does. I'm not hitting that.
Nobody does, Mr. 27 in a row.
But I got a 4-bagger, which was unbelievable. So I started drinking the sauce, thinking we were going to steamroll them. We ended up losing that game because Kyle laid down. So I'm blaming Kyle. I'm literally throwing him under the bus right now on live TV. It is what it is.
I'm there with him, man. I've tried to man up and challenge Steven to a round, and I'll lose 21-0, and I'm decent. I'm definitely nowhere to the level that Steven's at, but I'm like, I could at least score 5 points against him, and he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, all right, you're gonna spot me 15 points, and I'm gonna come back and beat you.
I'm determined. I'm determined to at least get some points on you, Steven. We're gonna have to meet up. We're all region rats.
He's eating his humble pie right now, but the dude's a stone cold killer on playing cornhole right there. Don't let him fool you. He's trying to lull us to sleep so he can steal our wallets right now.
I'm not scared. I'm also a moron and a big shit talker, so I got no problem stepping into the lion's den. But you're not allowed to wear earbuds because you got to hear my mouth. My mouth, I promise it'll get in your head. There's no way it won't. I got a big mouth. I've seen this mouth.
When we went tailgating, remember we were tailgating, we were going over to at the Waldron deck, and we were going to go use the bathroom, and all of a sudden we're walking by, these guys are playing cornhole, and I'm like, wait, those are my boards. Oh, we got to get next on this one. And Braggs is just running his mouth and got these guys disheveled right now, and and the backyard players, and it's like, yeah, we can hold our own, and then you get destroyed by Steven Bernacet, and you're like, yeah, I'm just basic. That's pretty much it.
That's right. And as you see at the bottom of the screen, visit www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS for 10% off, and you can get boards like these. You got this custom-made Batman type boards. You got the new Batman movie, The Batman, coming out here real soon. They're filming it in Chicago, so I'm really excited for that. These are beautiful boards. Got like that tough Batman look. I like that. You got all sorts of different designs. I scouring through some of your different photos. I like this one. This is a really nice one. You got, not just, obviously you'll have sports themed one, but got a little artistic theme here, Brian.
Yeah, we got something for everybody. So if you go on the site and you can browse everything, it's not just sports related. There's military and American flag and even Steven Bernacet boards that are out there with Steven's signature or his picture on there. So you can get anything that you want. But there's your region rat boards. Got to do a shout out to Andy Heck for those, man. Rest in peace, dude. But he's the one that designed those boards and allowed us to use them. So big shout out to Andy on those.
There you go. And then you got some of these. Explain what I'm seeing here. Is this a light that's behind the board here? Or are you just adding some graphics to make this picture look cooler?
No, that's a light. So on the interchangeable boards, we were never able to put a light or anything attached to the frame because the top's lit out. And so we partnered with a company down in Georgia that sends us lights that affix right underneath the inside of the frame, and they're bright. And what you're seeing right there is that it's like 16 million different colors that you can choose from, but it's all remote controlled, and you can add them to the bottom of your boards and have pretty much any color that you want, or any strobing effect, or the lights chase themselves, you name it. So they don't interfere with the hole because they're not around the hole; they're just around the inside of the frame. But
why does it look like a green flame? Like this is like not your prototypical light underneath here. Why does it look so cool?
Because the board is slanted, and you see the front of the board is in the grass, and everything.
Okay, the grass. That makes sense.
And when you're Steven Bernacet, you just got to see the hole, and that's it. Who cares about the front of the board?
That's true too. I mean, when you're playing at night, we were playing at night the other day, and it gets harder and harder. But now you got these, lights, and all you need is that. All I need is the hole too, Steven. Thank you very much. Geez.
Those boards are so cool, by the way.
They are badass. And then you've got these highlighted, alley. The alley is highlighted. I like these too as well, Brian. Maybe explain what's going on here.
Yeah, so we partnered with another company, small company out of Southern Indiana that takes our tops and they cut them down, and it's a colored resin in the middle of it. And you can pick any color that you want or any combination. You can see you've got green and blue. And then we put lights underneath it that literally light up the runway right there. And there are glow-in-the-dark boards. So they use the same lighting technology as the Superman ones that you saw. But you can use these, day or night, and they look pretty freaking cool at night. We've got a time lapse on the Facebook page of a green set and what it looks like when it's day out, and then as it transitions to nighttime, how much it glows. So yeah, that's what they look like in the daytime. But that's customer wanted them burned in, and that's just the effect that they wanted. But sure. Yeah, we can have them do anything. But that's a small company that did bar tops, and we reached out to them and gave them an idea, and now they're making a lot of these resin tops for us, and growing their company doing the resin tops for us.
So you were explaining a little earlier about the support underneath is key with boards. Some people will build boards on their own, and then you get the hop. It's like a trampoline. One of my buddies put one together. That's the elements you're playing against. But with your boards, you've got the support system underneath. Maybe explain the importance in that.
Yeah, so you can see the larger support. It runs in between the legs, so the boards don't shift, and that really strengthens up the legs. And we learned that with a couple of our first sets, where the legs would break when people would use the boards to stand up on them, and they push them to the side. So we put the support bracket there, but you can see attached to the underside of the playing surface, there's 2 more supports that are right there. They're dadoed into the side and screwed into not only the frame of the board, but directly into the top itself. And there is no bounce. There's no flex. There's nothing to them. Your bags land true. And if you're Steven Bernacet, they go in the hole. If you're me, they go right off the side, but they won't bounce off the side. They'll just go off the side.
Yeah, and we need the bumpers like in bowling.
Right, exactly. I just need that robotic arm they had at the Olympics, right? That was shooting basketballs.
That's
cornhole.
No more creating robots. Has nobody watched movies? Now they're making 3-pointers. I mean, come on.
I know it's one step closer to Terminator 2, man.
Exactly right. So we haven't learned our lesson. We got all these movies for direct examples of why we should not create robots, and yet we still persist. Now let's talk about this. I found this on your website too. These are pretty cool. You got, I'm assuming cup holders for your tasty beverage, and then and a little scorekeeper there.
Yeah. So those boards are made by another local Legionnaire, Butch Wisniewski. And so he specializes in cornhole towers or scoring towers. So if you've had a couple cocktails, you can keep score, and there's no fighting and bickering over what the score is right now, or who wins or who loses. But we've used Butch before, and then we also make our own that have a direct printed top and direct printed bottom. And they actually fold down into 3 pieces, and they lay flat, so you can put them in the trunk of your car, and you can carry them anywhere that you want. And they're fully customized as well. And you've got a little tablet holder, because a lot of the pros they like to put their phone up there, and they go on Facebook Live, or the ACL will have them go live as well, and just to follow and build their brand. And so we're like, well, might as well put a tablet in there to help keep score, or to help you go live.
That's badass. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm always going live as well. I can't help myself. And then, of course, you've got the one, the only, the Bears.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got any type you're looking for when it comes to boards, custom made. He's got a whole inventory, library of selection. But if you want something personally done, like I did, you have an opportunity to get that. This is the beautiful boards you put together for me. And we went through a couple rough drafts, and I can't thank you enough for these. I mean, on the left with the Cubs boards, the what if I told you 108 years of rain, or what if I told you 17 minutes of rain would wash away 108 years of drought? That was a sign that I made and put up, for the day of the banner raising, which is the picture you see underneath as the fireworks go off. That certainly means a lot to me. And then on the right, of course, everyone knows me for being at the stands, not only at Wrigley Field, but, of course, Soldier Field, to see our beloved Chicago Bears as they run out the tunnel. And they couldn't have come out any nicer, Brian. They are beautiful. I'm very proud to own them. They're sitting here behind me right now, keeping them safe and sound out of the humidity, because it is hot as hell right now here in the region. I'm sure it's hot in Ohio as well, where you reside. But I just can't thank you enough. They turned out so great. They play so nicely, and they're just amazing, man. I can't thank you enough.
Well, I'm glad that you like them, and I hope Addie loves them and Jenny loves them too. But I'm seeing the Cubs one right now. Man, are you sweating for the next 48 hours and hoping that Rizzo and Bryant stay with the Cubs? Because I sure am. Like, you can get rid of anybody else, but I want to keep those guys forever.
It's tough. Of course, I would want to keep them all. I mean, that's what my heart says. But they've kind of it's ran its course. I mean, they were so hot a month ago, and it couldn't have fallen off the cliff any harder. And you could argue they maybe could have blown this up, so to speak, 2 years ago and gotten even better draft assets. And they've waited this out for so long to see if something would change with this core. And the inconsistencies just seem to continue, not only the inconsistencies, but the injuries. So it would be hard for me to say, like, I completely blame them if they're going to try to change this up. At some point, a shakeup has to happen. Now, would I be surprised if you trade all these guys and they go off and play great for other teams? No, we're seeing that with Kyle Schwarber with the Washington Nationals right now. But we kept Kyle Schwarber and paid him. I just feel like we'd be the same boom or bust team that we have been, pretty much throughout the run. And they've had a lot of success. And baseball is a hard sport, 162 games a year. And, look at the Atlanta Braves. They made it 15 years in a row and only won it once. Beggars can't be choosers. The Cubs hadn't won one in 108 years, and this team got it done. So I am forever grateful. Build them all a statue as far as I'm concerned. But am I going to freak out? No. I mean, Chris Bryant is going to ask for a ton of money that might be too rich for our blood, when, he can't promise if he's going to put up MVP years every year after he gets paid. Theo Epstein used to have a saying, pay for the future, not for past performance. We start paying these guys and then they don't come through for us. Now what do we do? And it just seems like ever since they got rid of Dexter Fowler, they shouldn't have done that. And when they did, they don't have that guy that you go, we go guy. That is what they call Dexter Fowler. And so it's hard for me to say. The one I'd want to keep the most is Chris Bryant. To me, he's the natural. And he's had some injury problems that I think held him back. But again, how much, he's got that tough agent, Scott Boras. I don't know if it's going to be too rich for our blood. Anthony Rizzo, I just feel like as much I respect everything he's done for us. He's back here on my wall here behind my head, jumping up as they won the World Series. And that was one of the greatest moments of my sports life. But his back, he's hurt every year with his back. And his inconsistencies when it comes to hitting have always been there. Even the year they won the World Series, for the first half of the playoffs, it was, he couldn't hit, and then all of a sudden he caught fire at the end. And that's baseball at the end of the day. I mean, it's the one sport where if you hit 3 times out of 10, you're a great player. I mean, it's a game of failure in a lot of ways, and you have to learn to accept those failures. So, I guess the most realistic thing would be to keep Javi Baez, keep Wilson Contreras, and then maybe let go of Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant and Craig Kimbrell for assets and try to rebuild this around those guys. That'd probably be the approach I'd take at this point. But they got to do something. It's the trade deadline. We're not going to be able to keep all these guys, and you don't even know if you should. So you got to get something for them. Don't let them walk for nothing. That'd be the worst thing you could possibly do.
No, I agree with you on that, and I think Kimbrell's pretty much as good as gone. And even Javi Baez's comments today, he wants to go out and play with Lindor, which I don't blame him. They play together on the Puerto Rican national team, so more power to him. For me, it's something about KB and Rizzo. I think that being able to keep those guys and do kind of, what the Red Sox did. They built around Dustin Pedroia and a couple of the earlier guys that they had, and they brought another championship back there. And I don't remember if it was 2008 or 2010 or what it was, but I think that's something that we could possibly do. But I mean, pitching staff needs work. The bullpen needs work. A lot of the areas need a ton of work. I mean, Jason Hayward has been numbers wise a disappointment out right field. He's had his times where he's really shined, but I mean, not for the money that they paid him when he came on board. But I mean, if you can keep a couple of those core guys together and just start building around them, I think that a couple, especially with Bryant and Rizzo, I think that we can build something better around them with a fresh start rather than trying to just patchwork and put everything together. So,
it's a rock and a hard place, certainly. I mean, what are you? Are you a Cubs fan, Steven, or a Sox fan?
No, I'm a diehard Cubs fan.
That's why I wanted to get you in on this and see what you had to say.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, what do you think is the best course of action at this point?
Honestly, and I hate to say it, but we got to blow it up. We in my opinion, the trickiest thing is getting rid of Hayward's contract. That contract is just awful, and I get why we did it. Look, like Greg said, we want to ship, so I really don't care the position we're in right now. I accept it because we've all been there. They've been bad before, and they're not awful now. They're just, we aren't gonna win a championship with this team. It's just not gonna happen. So for me, I think they really got to look at Wilson, and they got to really sit down Javi. And if he's committed to Chicago, you give him the money, in my opinion. You give Willie the money, try to build around them. Them two guys I think, can be locker room guys.
I agree.
Maybe keep Rizzo, maybe a little bit more than a hometown discount. I'd hate to see Rizzo. Rizzo's like a Lester to me. I did not want to see him in another jersey. That would hurt. Lester does not look right in a Nationals jersey, and Rizzo would not look right in any other jersey. But KB-wise, I'm done with him. Thank you. Awesome. Good luck. We should have got rid of him earlier, in my opinion. But if Javi, I did not see these comments that Brian talked about. But if Javi's checked out, I mean, just get rid of them all. I mean, you're going to keep Hayward because you have to, unless we get lucky. KB, you got to get something for him. Kimbrel, get something for him because we got to build that bullpen somehow. But yeah, it's
we're letting go all these bullpen arms. They were so nails to start the year. We just lost Andrew Chaffin to the A's. Yep. Seems like they got a decent prospect in return. They're going to trade Craig Kimbrel. The bullpen is the hardest thing to puzzle piece to solve for a good team, and they had a stable of guys coming out that bullpen. And maybe they'll be able to keep some of these other guys, and they'll continue to flourish and grow. But man, it's tough breaking that band up because they were as good as it gets here to start the year.
Yeah, but do you guys trust in Jed Hoyer to build a team that's going to be a championship?
That's the $1 million question right there, because look at the return they got for Yu Darvish. It wasn't enough, you know?
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I agree with you there, Brian. He's got to prove it to us that he can wheel and deal and find the right puzzle pieces the way Theo Epstein did. So, you know, I think it's still a question to be had, but, you know, unfortunately it's like the Band-Aid rip. I think it's got to happen. I think me and Steven are on the same page when it comes to Javi and Wilson Contreras. They are lifeblood type of players that you could put a team around. Is Javi inconsistent? Sure. But, man, you saw it the other night when he hit that shot off Amir Garrett and was rowing the boat back to the dugout. That's the type of guy that I want to run through the brick wall for right there.
He got fined today for talking shit to the pitcher. Now, and I'm going to ask you both this. Can we please get away from people throwing balls because you served up a pancake and someone put it out of the park and is staring you down? Like, give me a break. Let's inject a little bit of life here and let him stare at him, because next time the pitcher's going to want to strike him out. And if he strikes him out, let him stare Javi down. Great. It's good for the sport. Get a little bit of enthusiasm. Get a little bit of edge to the game.
It's great for the sport.
You want to see some of these younger guys like us just get more into the sport. Allow them to be themselves. I mean, El Mago, he's an electric personality in the field. And I mean, just let the guys do their thing. This isn't your gentleman's Babe Ruth or Yankee Stadium sport right now. I mean, let's
wearing the nice jackets in the stands. Like, come on now, let's have some fun.
Absolutely. The pitcher can stare you down when you get struck out, but if you take him yard, you better be able to flip your bat, run backwards, do cartwheels, do whatever you want to do. So I think that's you know, if Rob Manfred is watching right now, which he probably is because it's Braggs in the stands, you know, let the players play. Let the guys do what they want to do.
And you know, Tim Anderson from the White Sox on the South Side, he's been proponent of this as well. You know, it's just like, come on, guys, quit holding the players back. Let them have some fun. That was as great a moment as you're ever going to have with him just yakking at Amir Garrett. That was as soon as it came off his bat too. I mean, that, like I said, it made me want. I mean, it literally made me buy a ticket and go to last night's game. That's how fired up I was when I saw that. I mean, and I don't like Amir Garrett, but that's what makes the game great because he does things that make me not like him. So, you know, and then you saw Joey Votto when he's hitting the home runs, he's bat flipping and he's taunting us. And hey, you know, all is fair in love and war. I mean, come on, let him. I had no problem with that.
Let the boys play.
Exactly right. So we'll see what happens with the Chicago Cubs. But at the end of the day, they won a World Series. I think everybody in 2014, if you'd have said the run that they had from 2015 to now and the World Series, you know, attached to that, every Cub fan would have signed up for that. And so beggars can't be choosers. You know, it is what it is. it's tough to watch it come to an end, but all good things must come to an end at some point. And, it's time for a new chapter, and we'll see where it can go from here. Joe Montana played for a different team. Michael Jordan played for a different team. So, Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant might have to do the same. It is what it is. But luckily, we all have Justin Fields to embrace and come together as Chicago Bears fans. That's what Chicago fans have to look forward to right now, and I know we're all excited for that. But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts. Obviously, this is a all-around sports show, and I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the chat. You guys have been crazy in there, making my head spin reading some of the craziness you guys are talking about in there. But you just never know. This is a spillover because a lot of these guys are Trey Toon Show loyalists, and they're over here showing me some support tonight, and I really appreciate these guys. But, man, they're like the motley crew of Twitch chat rooms. I mean, so if you guys ever want to really learn a thing or two about all spectrums of life, tune into the Trey Toon Show Monday through Friday, only on Twitch. My guy Trey Toons is the leader of this circus. He's doing a karaoke show right now, I believe, so he's working hard. He was in the chat earlier, but we're always in there. When I take my lunch, I get in there. Sometimes I call in, and you just never know where the topic of conversation will go. These guys, like I said, they're the motley crew. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. I know a lot of people watching tonight. We're really impressed by your work, Brian, and then, of course, your professional prowess here. Steven, can't be more impressed by, what you're doing out there on the field. I'm certainly going to try to tune in more. When I see it on ESPN, I'll watch it sometimes. It's almost like when I used to get into World Series of Poker, it kind of gets you in a trance for a little bit because you're just so impressed by it. But now that I know I'm getting to know some of you guys personally, I'm going to start trying to tune into when you are playing. And I think that probably will help grow the sport even more. It's one thing to just watch anybody throwing bags, and you guys are all great, obviously, on the professional circuit. But I think once you start to get to know people personally, that kind of ups the ante when it comes to rooting interests. You know what I'm saying, Steven?
Absolutely. It's definitely exactly how you said it.
Yeah, it's exciting, man.
Steven, my question for you: what? And I know, Greg, you're probably trying to wrap this up right now.
Yeah, we can go all night, brother.
I keep watching this stuff, and you got cameras in your face. I've been to 2 nationals. They got it completely roped off. It's you against Trey Birchfield right here, who now he's won a couple singles titles this year, and you're the only one to beat him. And what's going through your head right now? Like, are you feeling any pressure? Or are you just dialed in right now?
No, there's not really any pressure because I put a lot of work in it. So you feel pressure. It changes how you throw. It changes the way you do things. And if I feel pressure, I won't be able to do what I do at the highest level with the consistency I do it. So there's no pressure. I trust myself. I put in enough hours and practice. If I lose, I lose. I mean, it is what it is. You can't be afraid to lose.
Chubbs has got a question in the chat. Chubbs is one of my loyal viewers, diehard Bears fan. He wants to know how many you can make drunk because he thinks maybe if you're drinking, and this is a great point here, Chubbs, because I drink when I play. So this is another angle on how maybe we can take down Steven. Are you playing? Do you ever drink when you play? And how much worse do you get when you're drinking, or do you get better?
No, I don't drink when I play at nationals like this.
Well, not nationals. I'm just saying in general. No, obviously you're not drinking at nationals.
During the week, my weekly things, I'll have like a beer or two, but I'm not really a huge drinker. So if I get drunk and play, I might be a little beatable.
So that's the key. We got Brian.
We got to get this
guy lost on the whiskey sauce, and we can take old Steven down. That's what we got to do.
And it did not work out well for me at all.
Use the Jaeger bombs.
I've tried. I've tried with that too. I've tried all sorts of mannerisms to get him to screw up. And nope, didn't. I tried playing it with corn bags, and I played with pro bags, and it didn't work out well for me either. So, no, dude's a freaking machine. So the video just backs it all up. Dude, Steven's now thing is he just say, "Hey, Google me." That's all you got to do. See you later.
Just Google me. That is kind of a mic drop when it comes to that.
Yeah,
that's funny as hell. So, Steven, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor here, as you saw at the start of the show, Tom Waddle, kind of promoted the show to, it's how I start my intros to the show. We're going to be doing more of these FanBag, edition, special edition shows here going forward, highlight some different players on the professional circuit. So I was wondering if you wouldn't mind giving this show a station ID. And basically what that is, if you're not familiar, is basically just, I'll isolate you on the camera, and you say, "Hey, I'm Steven Bernacet from American Cornhole League." However you want to phrase it, and then you end it with, "And you're listening to Brags in the Stands." Do you think you can do that, Steven?
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot a little bit. We got to do this to our special guest. On a former network that I was a part of, the Barroom Network, we had Akeem Hicks on. And it took him 9 takes to get this right. So if it takes you less than 9, you're better than one of the best defensive tackles in the world. So, most people, it only takes 1 or 2. I'm sure you're going to nail it on the first one. Are you cool with doing a station ID for us here?
Yeah, I'll give it a try. That's fine.
All right, let's do it. So basically, like I said, hey, this is Steven Bernacet from American Cornhole League. I'm the champ, however you want to say it, and you're
27 in a row.
27, however you want to phrase it, and you're listening to Brags in the Stands. So I'm going to mute our mics, Brian, so it's nice and clean. We're going to isolate, and then I'm going to give you the countdown. So pull up your banner here, and in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Steven Bernacet. I'm American Cornhole League Pro, and I'm I messed up.
That's all right. Take 2.
I knew what I was going to say, and then I just completely
Take 2. That's okay. That's okay. Like I said, Akeem Hicks.
Even Tony had to do it like 3 or 4 times.
Don't be nervous. We're having fun
here. I'm trying to make what I say. Cornhole Pro.
Yeah, think it out. No pressure. I kind of put you on the spot. I should have warned you beforehand. Then maybe you could have put some. But it's more fun to do it this way. So
no, it is.
Hey, Steven Bernacet, American Cornhole League Pro, known for 27 in a row. I'm here for the show, and that's Brags in the Stands. How's that one for you?
See, he's got it. Brian's got it. So, but we're
Brian's good with
this. Yeah, but. Brian's good with the words. He's a good talker. So we'll give you a second shot. It's no problem here. We'll give you the isolation here. And I'll give you the countdown, brother. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name's Steven Bernacet. I'm an American Cornhole League Pro. I hit my first 27 in a row in my singles finals match. And you're listening to – oh, no, I messed it up. Dang it. I had it too.
You had it. It was so close.
That was it too.
So if you need the cheat sheet at the top right.
I was literally just reading everything. And then I went to the top right.
In the Stands. It's all right. No problem at all, Steven. You're on take 3 now.
All right, no, we're good now. I'm nailing it.
It's all good, man. No pressure. Taco grease is cracking up here at your attempts. This isn't, you're a bag thrower. You're not, the station ID guy.
No. Yeah, you threw it. I just need 3. I don't need 9.
Like here to make you feel better, I'll play you Jeff Joniak because he messed up. Everybody messes up. This is Jeff Joniak, the voice of the Bears. He's a professional, and look at how he tried to ad lib, and look at how he 2, 1.
How we doing, Bears fans out there? The beloved Navy Blue and Orange. This is Jeff Joniak, voice of the Chicago Bears. Stay tuned in right here to Brags in the Stands. My good friend is knocking it down, killing it, I didn't do it on the first take. How about that?
Oh, my God.
I was going to ad-lib out of it, so we got to do it again. Let's go.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Bears fans out there. This is Jeff Joniak, voice of the Chicago Bears. Keep it tuned right here to my man, Greg Brags. Brags in the Stands, killing it. giving you all the inside information from a Bears fan's perspective.
See that?
Oh, he killed it the second one.
But
he did mess up though. That's cool. All right.
Okay, so no pressure at all.
Here we go.
Through this, it's not easy. So for those of you in the chat that think it is, it's not. So yes, Jeff is a pro's pro, and even he messed up. So don't feel bad here. So we're gonna put you back on the isolation. We're gonna do take 3, and you're gonna nail it this time. I know you are.
You got it, bro.
No pressure. See, there's the support Brian always gives. Okay, in 3. All right, hold on. In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Steven Bernacet. I'm an American Cornhole League pro. I put my first 27 bads in a row in the singles final, and you're listening to Brad's in the Stands.
Boom. See? I gave it a little extra at the end. I'm going to always make sure I don't overtalk at the very end. So very nicely done. That's how you do it. And, the next time we do a bag show or a cornhole show, sir, the next time we do a cornhole show in this FanBags series that we've just kicked off here on Brags in the Stands, and we'll make sure to play that to start the show. And that way, awesome. The next guy that comes on, they can get intimidated knowing the best of the best was on here too. So
hashtag not 27 in a row.
Exactly right. What is the world record? 27.
It actually got broken the Nets National. I think it's like 34 now.
34
in a broadcast on a broadcast. I know.
What was it prior to 34? Like when you hit 27, what was it at that time?
23 out of 24, 22, something like that. I think I could be wrong, but it wasn't too much less of what I had.
So you set the record when you hit 20?
That was the most.
Did you know that you had surpassed the record when you did it?
No, I didn't find out till they put the headset on me to talk to Trey and Jeff on ESPN, and they were in my ear before came off commercial, and then Trey was like, "Do you know you put your first 27 in a row in?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he looked at me. I looked at him. He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I had no idea. I wasn't thinking about it.
Do you think that would that have messed you up had you known it was coming?
I don't think so, but it just would have been something I could have potentially thought about, and I don't really like.
It's better to have a clear mind, right?
Yeah, I didn't. I knew I had a good rhythm because obviously I just kept scoring, but I had no idea I put the first 27 in a row, and no.
Wow. That's incredible. I think the most I've ever done is like 7 or 8 in a row, and that was real lost on the whiskey sauce. I swear to God, I'm not lying. I can get hot. I'll smoke you, Brian. Give me that look some more. Come over to my house right now. I'll beat you on these boards right here, right now.
Because it's your show, I will look at the camera and go, yes, that is so true. Absolutely.
Okay, funny guy. You and Kyle writing it down on my shit list. Brian Potter, good friend, loyal sponsor here at Brags in the Stands. So, Steven, I want to let you go first. Really appreciate your time here tonight. Thanks for chopping it up. It was fun to get into some of the other sports. Probably went a little longer than I thought, but I enjoyed chopping it up, talking some Bears, talking some Cubs here. That's what we're all about here at Brags in the Stands. We're all about all the sports all across the board here in Chicago, our beloved city. So you are welcome here anytime. You don't have to just come on and talk bags and talk shop. If you want to come on and react to a Bears game on our post-game shows or whatever, the door is always open. But really appreciate your time tonight, Steven.
Thank you again for having me. I had a blast. This was awesome. And Brian, you already know this, but thank you for everything you do for me. I mean, without you, it wouldn't be possible.
Dude,
hell yeah,
my pleasure. And we still got to get that tattoo.
Yes, sir. We do.
Well, congratulations on all your success, and keep up the great work on the American Cornhole League professional circuit. I'll definitely be keeping on the lookout for some of your upcoming events and tune in and start rooting you on, my man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So that was Steven Bernacet, one of the best in the world at cornhole. And then there were two, Brian and Greg. We're going to wrap things up here. I appreciate all your time tonight as well, setting up this show and kind of spearheading this idea. This is a lot of fun, learning about sport that I love to play. And, this will be a fun series as we go forward. We'll bring on some different professional throwers, and they can continue to humble us. I don't know. That's a tall order to humble me. I mean, I'm a Braggs at heart, Brian. I got a big head. I can't.
It's gonna Braggs. Braggs is gonna Braggs, man.
I can't help it. It's in my namesake. So
that's right.
That's right. So again, for those of you that don't know, if you haven't learned already, but this man is the founder of FanBags Cornhole, and these guys do amazing work over here. And if as I was saying earlier, if you use the promo code BRAGS, you can get 10% off your entire order for a custom set of professional cornhole boards. So again, this Steven Bernacet interview was brought to you by FanBags Cornhole, Chicago's official supplier of professional cornhole boards and bags. Choose from any of their officially licensed designs or have my boy Brian design a custom set using anything from a selfie to your company's logo. Visit www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS to get 10% off your entire order. That's www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS for 10% off. Step up your game with FanBags Cornhole. Dang it, Brian. You're supposed to finish and say cornhole with me. That's how we do it when Johnny B and Jake are on. We say it together. You missed it. But that's okay. Next time, when I read that out,
we'll do it.
Both finish it by yelling cornhole. You ready for that?
Next time. Done.
Next time. So, again, keep on the lookout for more of these series going forward. We'll continue to have fun, learn about some of these different guys on the professional circuit. Again, Brian, I appreciate all your time tonight, but overall, your support to what I'm trying to do here at Braggs in the Stands and your friendship really means a lot to me, brother.
Dude, absolutely my pleasure, man. And I love seeing you do what you were born to do. Let's talk about sports. That's bullshit. And give people what they need. And that's exactly what you're doing, man. So I'm glad to play the small part that I can in this. And you keep doing your thing, man. And I'll be back here rooting you on every step of the way.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, brother. And yep, that's what we're doing. We're just having fun with it. Hopefully the Bears can continue to help with that fun. Last year it was hard to, do these post-game shows and bang our head against the wall every week. Maybe, brighter days are ahead for our Chicago Bears, and we'll have more fun episodes instead of more angry episodes. So Big Dollar Dave claims he is the best at cornhole, but I think we just met who is the best at cornhole, and your name is not Steven Dave, so you're going to have to take a lap there. But again, I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the chat tonight. You guys are the best. He says in the world, so I don't know. He's the duh, so maybe he's right. I don't know. We're not going to argue with Dave, but
it might be Steven just putting his own name in there and changing it a little bit.
Yeah, come on now. So, again, thank you to everybody tuning in tonight. It was a lot of fun. This is a nice little curveball to what we normally do here, and a great idea from you, Brian. So we'll leave it at that. Be on the lookout here Friday and Saturday. I'll be at training camp at Hallis Hall for the Chicago Bears, checking out Justin Fields live and in person. And did you just break something, Brian? What happened there?
Yeah, knocked my beer off.
I was like, hey, I thought you brought sound effects to the show or something. I was like, dang, we're going to have to keep you on permanent as a producer. I didn't know what that was. I thought Trey Tunes was around or something. That was
yeah, just the FanBag sound effects machine in the background here.
Yeah. So no, Will is calling my phone right now. You can forget it, Will. We're wrapping this baby up, but again, be on the lookout. We're going to be doing Friday and Saturday. I'll be at camp, and then on Sunday we're going to do a recap show in the morning, maybe around 10 or 11 a.m. Central. So be on the lookout for that announcement. And we'll be recapping everything we saw at Hallis Hall. My first time ever going into Hallis Hall. That's right, Will. I'm not answering your phone call, you degenerate. You can just wait your turn. Sunday, you are welcome to call in and talk about Bears or whatever else is on your mind. This man is triggered. Be on the lookout for him, Brian. He's on Twitter, and he's a crazy person.
Hey, man. It's all good. We welcome crazy.
Yeah, we're all crazy. We're all a little crazy, right? So
a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, again, that wraps things up for tonight. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to Steven Bernacet. Really a pleasure talking with him. He was gave me a lot of great insight that I'm going to put into use to take down my buddy Kyle, that backstabbing thrower and for a good friend of mine. So, for Brian Potter from FanBags Cornhole, I'm Gregory Braggs Jr., and this is Braggs in the Stands signing out. Make sure you go to www.fanbagscornhole.com and get yourself some boards yourself. Use the promo code Braggs. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.